y'all have sisters?
Mm.
You know, do y'all have a mother? What if someone show y'all a video like that? A man, someone beating on your mother or beating on your sister neck. How would you feel? And she's not even defending herself because she's not a fighter.
Your daughter, I want you to tell us more about her. She's obviously not just a headline in a story. Tell us about your daughter.
Well, Shanquella was sweet, very kind. She had a heart of gold. She loved everybody.
Shanquella Robinson was 25 years old when she met her sudden and suspicious demise while on vacation in Mexico with a group of friends. Originally from North Carolina, she was described as a very outgoing and ambitious, and goal-oriented, warm, and very genuine towards her friends and her family, and generally everyone in her circle. Could this good nature of hers have been a contributing factor to what eventually happened to her in Mexico? We will find out. But before then, kindly subscribe to my channel and give a thumbs up to this video.
Queen City News obtained Robinson's death certificate, which lists the cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is instability in the uppermost vertebrae. In the section where police could have noted any sign of intoxication, it says, person found unconscious on her lip.
Now, Shanquella, at 25 years of age, was a graduate of Winston Salem University. She was born on the 1st of September 1997 and graduated from West Charlotte High School. Like I said earlier, she was really ambitious and focused, so she quickly started up a business after graduation from university. Basically, everyone in and around Charlotte knew of or had heard of the young and super talented Shanquella Robinson for her hair extensions and braiding business. I think she called it exquisite braids. She wasn't only good at braiding, she also had exquisite boutique where she sold female clothes and fashion items. She was a young girl with so much talent, very driven and determined to progress in life. Her future was already very, very bright until she mysteriously dropped dead barely 24 hours after arriving in Mexico for vacation while in company of her friends. Shanquella went to Cabo, Mexico on vacation with her friends. She went to celebrate the birthday of one of their friends, Nazir, and they all returned back home without her. The annoying thing is that the stories that they told Shanquella's family as they returned back to the States without her are just so bogus and very confusing. Each and every one of them told a very different story as to what had exactly happened to Shanquella. And this is making her family and basically everyone who has heard of this story to question if there is foul play. What are her friends hiding? What do they know that no one else knows? Did they have something to do with Shanquella's demise? Let me get into the details of all of this.
Tonight, it's become a mystery in Mexico as a Charlotte family tries to find answers into how a 25-year-old wound up dead.
So this happened about 2 weeks ago. Shanquella Robinson went to Mexico with her friends. She arrived early on Friday the 28th, and her family says the next morning she was dead.
The so-called friend Shanquella traveled to Mexico with told her family that she had passed away due to alcohol poisoning. This was what they told her mother. Mind you, Shanquella didn't even stay in Mexico for days before all of this happened. She passed on barely 24 hours after arriving in Mexico. It all began on Friday, October the 28th. Shanquella had flown to Mexico with her best friend Khalil Cook. It said that she and Khalil had been very, very tight for like 5 years, if not even more. They did everything together. Her family knew Khalil very well. They knew him so well. There were 5 other people on that particular trip as well. Malik Deer, Winter Donovan, Alice Hyatt, Dejana Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins. Now, the plan to be in Mexico for a couple of days and, just chill and celebrate, a typical vacation like we all know. When Shanquella arrived at that resort, she settled in and then she called her mom. She told her mom what they were up to. At that particular time, they were about having dinner, and that was what she relayed to her mother. She said they had a chef who would cook for them, and then they would just, chill for a bit and then retire for the night. Her mother during this call wished her well and told her to have a good night and rest well. And that will be the last time anyone in Shanquella's family will hear from her, because soon after that call was made, even though we are not exactly sure of when it all began, we know that certain events were set in motion by her friends who were with Shanquella in that resort that culminated into her losing her life in their presence.
At a chef, they was getting ready to eat. They was eating tacos, something, salad or something they was eating. And I said, well, okay, I love you, have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I never talked to my child again, and she never made it.
Now, on the very next day, Khalil, Shanquella's best friend, calls her mother to say that Shanquella wasn't feeling well, that she had alcohol poisoning and she was laying down after throwing up, and that her pulse was very weak, and that a doctor was on the way to come examine her. From that, it turned to, oh, she was no longer alive. How did all that happen between the time Shanquella spoke to her mother the night before and the time she was getting the call? Why hadn't anyone contacted them sooner? Saying when Shanquella was, already feeling bad, why did they wait till she had to get these words before calling her mother? Now that Shanquella was deceased, do you know what her supposed friends did? They all packed up and left Mexico. They returned to the States earlier than scheduled without her. I mean, they just lost a friend to alcohol poisoning, according to them. Why couldn't they just stay to make further arrangements to bring her home? If they were her real friends, why did they have to abandon her there and then just run back like that? They ran because they knew there was more to Shanquella's demise than they wanted to admit, and they didn't want anybody linking them to what had happened to Shanquella. So back in the States, Khalil came back to Shanquella's home and returned some of her personal belongings. He even brought with him 2 of the other friends who were present on that trip with them. When Shanquella's family asked as to how all of this alcohol poisoning came about, it was clear that something wasn't right. They were all telling different stories. Now, Shanquella's autopsy result was sent to her family, and what they saw on that report fueled their suspicion even the more. And it was then that the anger and frustrations towards Shanquella's friends reached its peak.
She had a heart of gold. She didn't mistreat nobody.
I mean, I can't even be a grandfather. Can't even walk her down the aisle. She gone. And something is not adding up right here.
We're not gonna stop until we get to the end of it.
I get to the bottom of it.
We're gonna get to the end of this.
I'm hurt. I'm hurting all the way around.
The autopsy showed that Shanquella had a broken neck and a broken spinal cord. She passed away from these severe injuries and atlas luxation. It wasn't anything related to alcohol. The realization that something serious and violent had happened in that resort to Shanquella Robinson, and the people that were there with her were trying to hide it, blew this case up. And that's how people like us, who are not even the United States, got to know about this story.
Got to tell you, I am appreciative that you are joining us now, because I can only imagine the pain and the anger that you are feeling right now, and I know you want answers. We mentioned that you were initially told that your daughter had alcohol poisoning. So can you talk a little bit more about when you first found out that your daughter had been hurt, had died, what you were told, and what made you question what you were told?
Well, I received a call on Saturday saying that my daughter was sick and that she had alcohol poison. But her doctor had never arrived, so I don't know where they had got the alcohol poison from. So at that time, they said a doctor was on the way to examine her. And she wasn't responding, as they told me. Said she was resting a little bit, but she wasn't all the way responding as normal. So I told them to keep me informed, and I wanted to know why they couldn't take her to the emergency room. They said because they needed $5,000 cash to be seen in the emergency room. And I said, well, she has insurance. And they said they didn't take insurance by being out the country. It was a little different. So at that time, I told them just keep me informed, and they did call back, but they still saying it was alcohol poison. So by later on that evening, they called and said that Shanquella had passed. And at that point, it just took my heart, crumbled up, just knowing my child was gone, and I couldn't get there to her, could not do anything. And they said the medics came, 3 medics came, and no one couldn't do anything, couldn't save her. But I believe Shanquella was already passed, had already passed. But later on that next day, I got a call saying that they was over there fighting Shanquella, saying they don't know why they was putting on alcohol poison, say Shanquella, they was jumping on her.
Who called you?
And these were the friends that she was with.
So the friends that she was with said it's not alcohol. They initially said it was alcohol poisoning, and then they said, no, it's not. There was a fight.
There was a fight. This was a phone call that I received that it was a fight. So the video had to be out before they actually come back to Charlotte.
So there's a video on, for people that don't know, there's a video that's surfaced on social media that's very disturbing. You've seen this video, I know. Did you get a call from the police at any point about what they found? Oh,
I never received a call from the police saying what they found.
Or an autopsy, anything like that?
Later on that week, that Thursday, we received the call. That was the autopsy saying that her death had nothing to do with alcohol. Say she had a cracked spinal and say her neck had been broken. So that automatic let me know that she were jumped.
So did you, at that point, have you spoken with the friends that were with her since then?
I spoke to the friends, like they had, when she actually passed, it was on a Saturday evening night when they called. But I talked to them, I think they'll ride back home maybe Sunday or Monday. And I talked to them like on Tuesday and Wednesday. I talked to them Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And they kept on saying there was never a fight. There was never a fight. So I didn't believe any of them stories. So after we received the autopsy on Thursday evening, and the autopsy told us what had actually happened to her. And so that took it to a whole nother level because, they're saying that it was alcohol, and alcohol was not the cause of her death. Yeah. They jumped on her over there. And if you see the video actually shows that she was not fighting nobody back. She didn't even have a chance. All of them sitting there looking, no one sat, tried to stop it. She had nobody over there to help her,
So this
there was nothing she could do.
This is a video that's circulating on social media. Just to clarify, when you saw that video, did you think that was your daughter?
Yes, that was my daughter.
Okay. Did the friends talk about the video? Did they acknowledge the video in any way?
No, never. They never acknowledged the video.
As far as you know, obviously, because this has happened in Mexico, which complicates everything, the Department of State has issued a statement saying that they're aware of the reports. What do you know from the Mexican authorities and even the Department of State about where things stand then? You mentioned the autopsy report. What have you learned?
Well, I have learned now that they are looking at it as murder. And I was glad to hear that.
This, so often it is mothers that really sort of push and push and push. And I know this is hard. Your daughter, I want you to tell us more about her. She is obviously not just a headline in a story. Tell us about your daughter.
Well, Shanquella was sweet, very kind. She had a heart of gold. She loved everybody. She didn't mistreat nobody. Never, no one could possibly ever say anything bad about her because she was a good person.
Was she close friends with the people that she went on this trip with?
Well, all I know that she went to college with them. That one of the guys supposed to have been her best friend. And he had went on family trips with us, and he'd been to the family house. We all been on trips together, just good time. And I never thought that he could be that low to do my child like that.
Have you heard from him since all of this happened?
Yeah, he came to the house 4 days in a row until he found out we knew what the autopsy said.
And you haven't seen him since?
Haven't seen him since.
And Salamandra, have they given you any sense of a timeline? As far as I know, you said that they're investigating this now as a murder, but have they given you any sense of a timeline as to when you may hear more from them?
No, they just say they're still working on it.
That is a lot to digest. Now, the video that was being talked about in this interview is a footage that went viral that shows Shanquella being jumped by the friends she traveled to go on vacation with. I'm going to put a link to the video for you to watch it for yourself if YouTube permits. But in the absence of that, I personally wish that I didn't watch that video because it's stuck in my mind. This girl is beating up Shanquella, who has no clothes on, and Shanquella does not want to fight back. In the video, you can clearly hear Khalil Cook, her so-called best friend, at the background telling her to fight back while filming the entire sick fight. He is doing absolutely nothing to help Shanquella, who is obviously not a fighter. This fight happened probably that Saturday morning, the very day that she passed away. It seems she was woken up from sleep to be beaten up because she had no clothes on. I am assuming she was sleeping without her clothes and they just jumped her and, woke her up from sleep and began to pounce on her. That's why she was so, dull in the video and she didn't want to fight back because I think she was not even realizing what was happening at that point in time. We do not know yet what prompted that attack on Shanquella just barely 24 hours after she arrived. I mean, was she invited to Mexico to be beaten? Because it seemed that there was a beef that we do not know about. So was she invited there to be thoroughly beaten because of a beef that no one else knew about apart from the group of friends? Was she set up?
We want justice for Shanquella Robinson, okay? Her best friend of more than 5 years, about 6, 7 years. His name is Khalil Cook. Now, Khalil is a friend. I'm talking about like a friend. You know how you have that best friend where you hang out with, you go on vacations together, you hang out all the time, you go out to dinner, shopping, whatever. You come over to mama's house, you hang out, and we're talking about best friend. We're not talking about no friend where we just meet people at the club 3, 4 times and then we call ourselves friends. No, we're not talking about them type of friends. We're talking about someone who is supposed to have your back.
Khalil is very suspicious to me. I mean, as you heard Shanquella's mother say in the interview, he came to the house 4 days in a row. Then he suddenly goes AWOL after the video began to circulate. And the autopsy also got to her family. I mean, Shanquella's sister, Kila, said that after they saw the video, they tried to call Khalil. He will not answer his calls and he has not showed up to their house since then. With friends like this, who needs enemies? Nazir Wiggins, the one who was celebrating his birthday, that's the reason Shanquella went to Mexico in the first place, came on Instagram Live to give his side of the story after the footage of Shanquella being beaten surfaced. It's a long rant, but that's the only thing we have of any of our friends who had gone to Mexico with her speaking out, so it's worth the watch.
I didn't know they did any harm, anything. I went in there and told it was alcohol poisoning, so that's what I helped her as. That's what I helped her as. I didn't leave her side. I cut on soft music. Summer Walker rubbing her head till the nurse came in. She was showing symptoms. My taxi driver, it took us an hour to get to the villa because there was traffic. I don't know why. So I got to the villa around 3:26. I instantly, as soon as I go in there, I go to Quilla. Quilla didn't leave my side, none of that, till the nurse came. But I got too far ahead. So Quilla was laying on the couch in the game room. The villa was like a big mansion, no upstairs, all tile on the wall, tile on the floor, straight tile, nothing else. So it just a big villa. I don't know if y'all can view it on the website. Go to Cabo Villas and look at how big this is and what it looked like. Well, you're gonna see. So when I got there, she was in the game room. They told me she was not feeling good, so I instantly go to her, put on her side, get a bag, and all that. So I'm sitting right next to her the whole time. I was cross my heart. I hope that I was there the whole time in the game room, and then they was talking about cooking. So we made it to the living room. I cut on some soft music, sitting with her, rubbing her head, just chilling, waiting until the nurse came, because that's what I was informed that was happening. At first, I was told that it was a male coming, and then a female showed up. So by that time, I skipped another thing. Quilla wasn't found dead. She wasn't found dead. The maids found her slumped over the toilet in her room. That's what they did find her, slumped over her toilet in her room. That's what I was told. Quilla was not dead when I got there. Yeah, boom. So it's like, okay, so when I get in there, I go in, I see Kula, I see she chilling, I put her on her side. I go out and make that video where I'm talking about I'm here, Kula get up. I'm thinking like, damn, we got stuff to do. ATVs, a boat, dinner. I missed the chefs, I missed everything. Anyways, fuck that. So I'm like, damn, I'm thinking, Kula, let's get up. I say that in the video. Everybody can hear it. Everybody that know me heard me say this. That was my first video when I got there, or second, because I made a video of me pulling up to the villa. But he was cutting up the guy. I try to get the timestamp for y'all, but that's not going to work. So I guess the real FBI or whatever had to put those right timelines together. But I'm going to start with the NCB. That fact is so stupid and got y'all believing everything that's wrong. I was not there till the next day. I didn't see a fight. I didn't know it was a fight. I didn't know it was a video. I didn't know they did any harm, anything. I went in there and told it was alcohol poisoning, so that's what I helped her as. I didn't leave her side. I cut on soft music. Summer Walker rubbing her head till the nurse came in. Nobody even talked about the nurse. Nobody even said a nurse came. None of this stuff. So I'm really not understanding where this story is coming from and why it's out here like this, because it's wrong. It's wrong. And for y'all to be attacking me, an innocent soul, like I'm really innocent. I went there to enjoy my birthday. And to really just goddamn have fun. I didn't have not 1 second of fun. And take one shot and smoke one, didn't do anything.
I am still confused about how he said he was by her side, rubbing her head with soft music on until the nurse came. I mean, did he not say that her lips were busted or her eyes were swollen? And had she not had a knot on her head? Is that in any way consistent with alcohol poisoning? Following Nazir Wiggins' live video, a young lady began to tweet about how he, Nazir, had assaulted her back in 2013, but no one believed her back then. It seems there is more to this Nazir personality, but we shall see how all of this unfolds later on. Now, news outlets from North Carolina got in touch with, I think, the United States Department in Mexico, and they said that it seemed there was no foul play, or should I put it, there is no evidence of foul play in Shanquella's demise. So they're not actually treating it as a homicide, meaning that she basically miraculously had a broken spinal cord or what? Who is going to believe that? With what you have seen and heard so far, do you believe there's no foul play involved in Shanquella's demise? Let's listen to the interview of Shanquella's father, courtesy of Gerald Jackson of the North Carolina beat. Then we should talk more about this.
Just go on, ain't do nothing. And Khalid, you supposed to be her best friend for 5 years. 5 years.
Friend. Now I want to.
Y'all supposed to be friends.
Yeah.
Friends just don't do that.
Yeah.
Not at all. You know.
Yeah.
Do y'all, I understand y'all parents, your parents ain't even reached out to me, or I don't know if you reached out to her mom or not, but your parents ain't reached out to me. You all ain't reached out to me. So, I say something ain't adding up right here, but I just ask God to give me the strength and bring me justice. Show me what really happened over there, Lord. That's all I ask. I'm not perfect, but I know definitely where my help comes from.
Yes.
I know definitely where my help comes from.
Yeah.
And God has been moving. He's been moving.
Yeah.
And Gerald, the way God moved in you, when you say you called that Monday morning, I know I had prayed, say pray, always pray. And it's just how everything just going, it's just everything just coming. The cover just been pulled off,
Yeah.
And I'm still hurting. Like I said, I'm sitting here hurting, talking about this as I'm hurting right now, knowing in 2 days, I gotta bury her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And y'all then came back here, then shut down your Facebook pages. You're not talking no more like you was before you left. So why you hiding? Just tell the truth.
Just tell the truth.
Just tell the truth.
Mr. Robinson,
tell the truth.
I want to.
You got a father here that won't even be. You got a father here now. Won't even be a granddaddy. I can't even walk her down the can't even walk her down the aisle.
Yeah.
Can't even hear a voice. Can't hear her say daddy. She gone.
Yeah.
She gone.
Yeah.
And y'all took that from me. Y'all took that from me. And Khalid, I know she told you about her dad. I know she did. You got a dad. You know, y'all got dads and a mother that I know of. You know,
Yeah.
they can look at you all. Y'all can have a conversation. I can't have no conversation no more.
Mm.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So I had to come on here and, you know, speak my heart and speak my mind. You know, I'm not a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
Anybody who knew me, all my daughter's friends, know what type of dad I was.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I want you to do. And I know me and you talked, and we talked about having an interview. And I know we talked about, you said that I'm gonna give you one first because you've been working on it. And I just want to thank you because the people need to hear from you. These I'm gonna call them murderers. I don't care what nobody else call them, Mr. Robinson. I'm gonna call them what they are, my opinion, because I feel like that y'all knew what was going on and you still didn't say nothing. Now the problem I have is that Khalil came back, brought your daughter's luggage to the house, had dinner, and sat in y'all family's face and told y'all that Shanquella died from alcohol poisoning. And then when I called you about the video, you didn't even know anything about the video till I called you and told you about the video, and I sent it to you. And you know, now that the video is out, it definitely confirms what you were saying all along about, you know, the alcohol poisoning doesn't put a knot on your head. It doesn't swell your eyes. It doesn't bust your lip. It don't do any of that. And I know that that's one of the parts that you can't even fathom of how this man can come to your family's face and tell y'all a lie like that. Now, I spoke with Miss Salamandra. I spoke with Miss Robinson, and she had told me that Khalil had been coming back over to the house. He was coming around every day. Did he ever call you? Did he ever reach out to you personally and tell you, you know, what happened or any of that?
No, Khalil never called whatsoever. You know, from what his mom was telling me, you know, he'll come over to the house. I guess he was coming over to see what kind of information they knew. But once I found the information out, that's how they found the information, was through me, that she had a broken neck and a broken spinal cord trauma.
Right.
That's how they got the information, was through me. And then once they came, when I called and sent what happened, then he was over there. Then all of a sudden, from what they told me, he got all sick and wasn't feeling good. And say his aunt was with him or his mama was with him. He wanted to leave. And when he left, they ain't heard no more from him, you know. So, and then when I saw the video, for y'all to beat her, knowing she's not a fighter, for y'all to, I don't know if y'all woke up out of her sleep, to beat her naked like that. Well, while she was naked, you mean to, you know, to sit in that room and watch her, that girl hit on her like that while she was naked. You know, I mean,
It's
the men in the room. Wait, I mean, do y'all have sisters?
Mm.
You know, do y'all have a mother? What if someone show y'all the video like that? A man, someone beating on your mother or beating on your sister naked. How would you feel? And she's not even defending herself because she's not a fighter. You're already bigger than her. She ain't number, you know, petite, no way no more than about 120, 125 pounds. That's not her style. Her style is not a fighter. Her style is not a fighter. She wasn't raised like that.
Yeah.
She wasn't raised like that. She was raised to, you know, to have fun and treat people like she wanted to be treated. Laugh. You know, care for others. You know, and y'all want to take her over there out of her comfort zone and do her that way when she thinking she going over there to have fun. And y'all seen that, to me, it was a setup. You know.
Yeah. That's what it's
like
to me as well.
To the grace of God.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get justice. She's not gonna die, and it will not die in vain.
No.
I'm gonna get justice. I'm gonna get justice.
Yes, sir. Yes, we are going to get justice. You are going to get justice. Shanquella's going to get justice. Your entire family is going to get justice. Now, Mr. Bernard, Friday, they are over in Mexico. Saturday, as you know, as you talked about earlier, Khalil calls and he says that Shanquella's not feeling good. She's been throwing up and she's resting. And then he calls back because Salamandra told me that, you know, she told him, you know, well, just, you know, keep an eye on her, you know, just keep me updated on what's going on. And then he calls back and says that they are trying to resuscitate her. And you're trying to understand, well, what's going on? And then he comes up with this alcohol poisoning bullshit, you know. Now, and I understand that the FBI is now investigating. You have been in contact, your entire family has been in contact with the FBI. But have you learned anything as far as the Mexican police seeing any type of bruises on her when they got there? You know, did the medics observe anything, you know, different, you know, about her when they got there for them to, you know, allow these people to leave a room, you know, after saying that she had alcohol poisoning and then tending to her body and it's obvious signs that, you know, she was beat? Have you learned anything? I mean, has any information been communicated to you that the Mexican authorities or the doctor or the medics over there saw any of those signs on her?
You know, as right now, I'm just waiting on for all that information to come back to me.
Yeah, you're waiting for all that information.
Waiting all that information to come back to me.
Right.
From what I saw her, when I saw her in that cat, when I saw her laying there when they rolled her in the funeral home, I mean, you see, we saw the bruises.
Right.
We saw the bruises.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. She was in her, you know, pajamas, flannel pajamas, pants, and a shirt. So I don't know if they put that on her or who put that on her, you know. But I don't just see how can y'all sleep. I don't see how all of y'all can sleep. I don't see how can all of y'all go about and do y'all daily duties and sit there knowing what y'all did.
Yeah.
Knowing what y'all did.
Right.
You
now,
know?
I understand, Mr. Bernard, that you're waiting for more information as it relates to that. Now, the death certificate stated, now the video shows that there was a fight in the bedroom. It's early morning outside if you look at the, you know, outside in the video. But the death certificate stated that she was found in the living room. But the video shows that a fight was inside the bedroom, and I do know, and I communicated with you from a source that there is a second video, because obviously, you know, Shanquella is on the ground with her head down. So, I mean, you know, you could tell that she's still alive. But then other information that we learned today about Winter Donovan grabbing her around her neck and slamming her and her not getting back up. There is a second video that is out there. And this information came directly from someone who is friends with Dejane's mother, and this information was communicated because people were upset about the fact that only one angle is being showed, and that is Dejane assaulting your daughter. This was not a fight. This was a brutal assault because your daughter was not fighting back.
Shanquella's family said that when they saw her body much later, her face was swollen and her lips was busted. She also had a knot on her head and a swollen eyes, which was consistent with someone being beaten severely. So why are they trying to say that there was no evidence of foul play? Her family are not having this at all. You know, they say that they must find out the truth about what really happened to Shanquella. Khalil knew that something went down in Mexico. Maybe he wasn't counting on it being brought out in the open yet. All those days that, he was visiting Shanquella's family, he never for once mentioned it. He brought the other girls who were on that trip to Shanquella's home, including that particular one that fought her initially. But they too never said anything. How disturbing is it that they sat in the face of her family and acted like they just didn't beat her, till she passed away? That video is not even a fight at all. Clearly, Shanquella isn't fighting. She was beat up. Now, what we do not know is what else happened after that fight that we do not know about. What exactly are they hiding? Exactly what type of friends are these? Before we proceed further, I would like to say that we should please all reevaluate the people we keep as friends or, allow into our cycle. Not everyone is on the same wavelength as you are. The heart of man is desperately wicked. There is so much jealousy among so-called friends, and if I'm allowed to speculate, Shanquella's case is not an exception. Every single person who was there with Shanquella should be brought in and questioned. They are most definitely hiding something. Give them all a polygraph test, then take up the investigations from there. Why did they tell all the stories about alcohol poisoning when they knew it was all lies for a fact? That girl who fought Shanquella, I think she's the one called Dejene Jackson. She's the person people speculate is the main culprit, but this is not all. There is another video which is said to show Winston Salem slamming Shanquella to the ground, and she remained motionless after that slam. I haven't watched that video and I will not be watching it because I don't want to see more of her sufferings. If you can handle it, you can find it and watch it. How about the other video of one of them recording Shanquella while she was asleep and referring to her as a dead body? This was way before all of this incident that led to her demise. It makes one to wonder, was Shanquella marked? Was her going to Mexico all a plan to take her life? This case is still ongoing for now. There has been no arrest because the authorities don't believe that Shanquella's friends are suspects. Let's hear more from Gerald Jackson of the North Carolina beat.
I remember when I spoke to the mom and Shanquella's sister today, Quilla, she told me that, Khalil would be walking around pacing, whatever it was that happened, it was eating him alive. So he brings over Winter and Dejene. Okay, he brings those two over at one point. At that point, the family had been told that there was a fight over there and that they jumped on Shanquella. Well, the sister, Quilla, had asked the girls, was it true or not? And they said, no, it was no fight going on. It wasn't nothing like that or whatever. So they said, at this point, we're just going to wait for the autopsy to come back, All right, y'all saying it's alcohol poisoning, y'all not changing. Okay, we're just going to wait to the autopsy to come back. Well, the autopsy comes back, and the autopsy says that Shanquella had a broken neck. She had her spinal cord was severed, broken, and she was beaten. A photo that when I spoke to Mr. Bernard earlier this morning, he told me that he shared a photo with the mom and the sister that showed Shanquella on the table, and it showed her forehead swollen, eyes swollen, lips busted, as if she had got into a fight.
Now, as the case continued to unfold, more information continued to come up that gives us an insight into the last hours of Shanquella's life. According to the Charlotte Observer, a doctor from the American Medical Center was with Shanquella for almost 3 hours, before she passed away that Saturday afternoon. Reports say that at about 2:13 p.m., Winston Salem made the request for medical assistance. The doctor who attended to Shanquella said that when they arrived, they were told that she had drank too much alcohol. But from their own investigations, she had stable vital signs, but she was dehydrated and she was unable to speak or communicate. The doctor requested to transfer Shanquella to a hospital for proper treatment, but the group of friends declined. They insisted she be treated right there on the property. The doctor, who is female by the way, tried to administer IV to get her rehydrated at least, but it was difficult to locate her veins. Barely an hour into it, Shanquella suffered a seizure a few minutes past 4 p.m., probably 4:20 p.m. At this point, Winter again called the emergency services for more help, while the doctor on site tried to perform CPR on Shanquella, but unfortunately, Shanquella stopped breathing and her heart stopped beating. Before 6 p.m., she was pronounced deceased. Her death certificate did say she passed away by 3 p.m., so the timing is kind of confusing for me here. Also, the report from Mexico says she passed away from cardiopulmonary arrest.
So the death certificate has a section that reads, was it accidental or violent death? Yes was typed into that section, so it's still not clear which one authorities meant to select. The U.S. State Department told Queen City News that Mexican authorities say there's no clear evidence Robinson was murdered.
But remember, the autopsy talked about a broken spinal cord and atlas luxation, which were not included in that initial report. See where things aren't adding up? It is said that the FBI is investigating the lack of information thereof, or should I say the omitted information.
Family tells me they have contacted the FBI in Charlotte to help them figure out what happened. They also say they'll hire a private investigator if it comes to that. Their daughter will be laid to rest next Saturday.
It is very sad that this happened to Shanquella. Every blessed day, new information comes out, but at the end of the day, what everyone wants is for her to get justice.
Group stayed here at Villa Linda 32, a property listed on cabovillas.com. A rep with the company says the group called the concierge for help Saturday afternoon. The concierge called a doctor who gave CPR. Robinson died at 3 p.m., an estimated 15 minutes after her injury.
Following her demise, Shanquella's family paid $6,000 to get her body flown back to the States. She was buried in a very beautiful ceremony after her body was returned back home. Who would have thought that a quick trip to Mexico would turn into all of this? Even Shanquella herself would not have believed it if she was told. Let's take a look at her burial ceremony. Shanquella was a good daughter, a friend, and a sister. She had a boyfriend who adored her seriously, and he has been left heartbroken since her demise. It's my prayer that God gives them all the strength to bear this severe loss. So that's it for today's case for now. Currently, all of Shanquella's friends are being plastered all over social media, yet they are not coming forward to say exactly what had happened to her while they were with her in Mexico. What have you learned from all of this? Because there are great lessons to learn. First and foremost, not everyone you interact with is your friend. Not all your friends are happy with you. Some are just plain jealous and hurtful and will do you dirty the moment they are presented the opportunity. So please be wise in choosing friendships and making yourself available to people, because you never know. Before you go, subscribe to my channel and like this video. Should there be more updates, I will bring them to you. Until next video, stay safe.